Hello appraisers, this is Brandon with Spark for Appraisers and True Footage, and I'm making this video to go over our new feature that we just added to Synapse called peer results. So it's these purple dots right here. You can now see these when you load up Synapse, assuming you have at least 3 peers. That's our requirement. You have to have at least 3 other appraisers with quote unquote similar sessions. We'll get into what similar means in a little bit. There's another video that covers that as well, but if as long as there are at least 3 other appraisers that have sessions that are considered quote unquote similar, then you will see these purple dots showing up. And you might see purple dots for some, but no purple dots for others. For example, maybe in your area, pools are really rare, so you may not have at least 3 appraisers that have a swimming pool adjustment showing up in a given area. So you might see purple dots for lot size, but not for swimming pool, for example. So anyways, these purple dots are the peer results. And what we do is we show you the median and the average. You can see for lot size for this particular report I'm doing, I have $3.82 is the average for lot size and $4 per square foot is the median for lot size. Now, I can also hover over this eyeball and I can see my prior choices and I can click here to see the prior sessions I did and what those results were. In addition to that, I can also see my peer results in a histogram. I can see most appraisers that are doing similar sessions are choosing between $5 and $6 a square foot for the lot size adjustment. I can also click where it says click here, and it shows me those appraisers. We're hoping this is a little thing we'll have fixed by the time we release this here, by the time this video goes out. So 10, 11, 12 obviously should be at the bottom here. But either way, you can see that we have 12 appraisers that all have lot size results, and you can see the median of each of those appraisers. Now, some of these appraisers may have more than one, similar session, and we're only showing one number though, because we don't want some appraisers that maybe do a lot more work to have more weight when it comes to getting the average and median. So basically we give one number for every appraiser. It's all anonymous, and we'll get into more of that in a bit too, but it's all anonymous, so I can never nail down who appraiser 1 is, who appraiser 6 is. And also these are the median of each of these appraisers, results or adjustments that they chose in similar sessions. So what Synapse basically does then is it finds all these appraisers, it takes the median of all these numbers, and it takes the average of all these numbers, and that's what it shows here in these dots. And all of that information also goes into your digital work file. It can go into your commentary if you want. It can go into your adjustment PDF that you might load into your report, but you can also control that and turn it off. So just to show you here, so if I have, let's say I have that. So the highest number is the $4 for my peer adjustment. I can look at the comments and I can see for lot size, it's using median true paired sales and the median and average of peer adjustments and least median of squares regression. Those are the methods that are considered relevant when I chose this adjustment. Now, if I turn off the ability for these results from the purple dots to go into my comments or into my adjustment PDF, which that's a setting I'll show you before I end this video here. If I turn that off, then what that means is in this commentary, you will not see peer adjustments, median, and average in there. Also, those dots would not count. So this number, $4, would actually not show up. It would be because the next highest one would be $2.86 because the red dots don't show up. That's how that works. Now, let's get into the actual the parts you might care about, which is, anonymity, whether or not this is data that can actually be shared, and do you want to opt in or out? So let's go ahead and get into that. So now I get into that by going into the gear icon, going into general settings, and going into similar settings. So this is where we can actually define what is a similar session, and do I want to even opt into this? So I'm going to click that, takes me to this screen. So now this is how we define what is similar. So what happens is the first thing Synapse does is it looks to find any other sessions that were done in Synapse that were in the same zip code as your subject property. And those are potential, similar sessions. Then it looks at how far back you want to include. And this is something you have control over. The default is 12 months. So it looks for any sessions that are in the same zip code and that are within the past 12 months of whatever you set as your effective date. And those are now potential similar sessions. Then the last thing it looks at is the quality. So whatever quality you choose, because in Synapse, when you start up a session, before you can get to the results screen, it asks you what is the quality of your subject property, and you can choose anyone anywhere from Q1 to Q6. And if you're not familiar with Synapse, we also have partial steps, so you can have Q4, Q4 plus, Q3, Q3 plus. So you can decide if you want it to be an exact match. So if it's a Q4 plus, then in order for it to be considered similar, it has to be also a Q4 plus, or you can decide if you can have a range. So, and that's where we have like plus or minus one half step. So if your subject is a Q4 plus, then that means Q4, Q4 plus, and Q3 would all be potential qualifiers in what is quote unquote similar. So that's how we define similar. Zip code, then how far back, then quality, and you can control all of that. Other than zip code, you don't get to control the zip code part. Okay, so now let's get into the important stuff of peer sharing, opting in, opting out. What exactly does it mean, and is it okay? So first of all, just to lead off with, yes, we did contact the Appraisal Standards Board, like I said in the email that we sent out, I think over a month ago now, to all Synapse users. We did contact the Appraisal Standards Board. We made sure that the way we're doing this is okay. We also contacted, just to be safe, two USPAP instructors, and they agreed, because we're doing it the way we're doing it, this is totally fine, nothing wrong with it. Basically, not only is it anonymous and no adjustment can be pinpointed to any single appraiser, but on top of that, no adjustment can be pinpointed to a property. So no one can tell what property has what adjustment. I don't know that 123 East Main Street has this adjustment or that adjustment and who did it. None of that information is known. All I know is that some appraiser did an appraisal on a property in the same zip code with quote unquote similar quality, and this is the adjustment they chose, and that's basically it. So because it's done that way, it's totally fine. I actually find it helpful to go in and see what other appraisers are doing in for similar properties. And in fact, it may help me, and I may even want to add a comment about it. If you know that other appraisers in your area are using much lower adjustments or much higher adjustments than you, then it may be something worth commenting about why you feel confident in your adjustments despite what other appraisers might be doing. So anyways, that's that. Now, what exactly does it mean when you opt in and opt out? So if I right now go in and opt out of peer sharing and hit done, the moment I hit done, within 1 second, if any user of Synapse goes to create a session, they will immediately not have access to any of your adjustments that you chose. In the past, in the future, none of it. None of it will be available to them at all. Right that moment for any session that's created from that moment onward. When I opt out, that also means that you will no longer be able to see the purple dots. You will no longer see peer results because you opted out. You're not sharing your data, then the other data is not shared with you, basically. And then when you opt in, then it's the reverse, essentially. Then immediately, as soon as you opt in and hit that done button, that means that immediately all of your adjustments that you ever chose and that you ever will choose until you opt out are shared anonymously with other users of Synapse that are doing similar appraisals of similar properties, quote unquote similar, like we already talked about. In addition, you then have access to see their results anonymized, where you just see appraiser 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we require at least 3 appraisers. So that's basically it, and that happens immediately. Then the other setting that might be relevant for you is we included this one, which is, do you want to include this peer data results in either the comments that Synapse builds or in the summary page? The summary page is that document that has little cards on it for each adjustment you chose, and some appraisers choose to include that in their appraisal report. They load it in as they attach that PDF to their report. Basically, if I turn this off, what that means is that any numbers that are from these purple dots and just the fact that it says peer adjustments will not show up in any of the commentary or in that document. And just let me give you an example. So here, where it says the adjustment range is $234 to $4, and peer adjustments median average was included. So basically, what that would look like, let's say I got rid of those two purple dots. So if I uncheck that box that I don't want those included, then this is now what that comment would look like. It would say the adjustment range is from 234 to 286 because it's no longer including that 382 and $4 that were those purple dots. And you can see it no longer says peer results or peer adjustments in here. So that's basically it. If you want to see that information because you want to see the purple dots, but you don't want it to go into your comments or into that document, then you just uncheck that box and you'll be good. None of that will go into your actual report. And in case I didn't already say it, all of the data, no, regardless of that setting, just to be clear what setting I'm talking about, this bottom setting, regardless of this setting, all of the data will still go into your digital work file. Because that may be important, because maybe even though you didn't want that to go into your actual report, maybe you did lean on that information a little bit because you did see these purple dots. So anyways, that setting basically means the purple dots will still show up for you, but they won't show up in your report or the commentary. Okay, I think that's it. Thanks so much, everybody, for watching. Hope you like the new feature, and we'll see you on the next one. I don't normally do this, but yeah, if you have interest, hit like, hit subscribe. Yeah, like the kids are saying. Thanks, guys. Bye.